Hello and welcome to the Goodman Podcast. It's lovely to have a very dear friend of mine, Pranika Rawat, who is somebody I really respect, somebody I met through EO, and her journey has been phenomenal across several countries. So today we have the privilege to have her on our podcast. Pranika, firstly, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Raj. It's absolutely my pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. So tell us, who is Pranika Rawat?
Um, well, deep inside, I'm just a fun girl, but I am now a mother of a 3-year-old married to a great guy living in Bangkok, where we just moved a year ago, and I'm loving this city. It's growing on me every month. I am from Jaipur, India, which is where I was brought up, and we lived there soon after our marriage as well. We were between Jaipur and Hong Kong for business, and we are now here trying to grow our business. And we'll talk more about my work as we speak.
And that's awesome. Actually, that'll be my next question. Tell me a little bit about your journey into entrepreneurship and what have you been sort of doing in the space of business and beyond?
So I've always had this creative side to myself. I think it's just something that came to me naturally from when I was a little girl. I used to always enjoy a bit of art and craft and all of that. But when I did get to serious business, when I was applying for my college, I applied to only one university, which wasn't the best decision, but I got damn lucky and I got through it, which was the National Institute of Fashion Technology in India, which is a very fine institute, and I've learned so much from that institute. So I studied design and communication, and eventually went on to Mumbai for a year, where I got some work experience. And then my father wanted to still study leadership and management, so he um, encouraged me to go to the UK, where I pursued my master's in leadership and management. Once I was back, I saw a market gap. I was in, like I mentioned, the city of Jaipur, which 10 years ago was a smaller city. It's a much more cosmopolitan city now. But back then, the design scene of Jaipur was a bit slow. People were still learning about new designs. I thought it was a very good space to bring the modern outlook of design into the city. And I decided to set up my own design studio. I called it Edge Design, ETCH, which means sketching and drawing through a whole new city. So that's what we did. We were very lucky to come across some wonderful clients who were able to give us the free hand to be able to explore and do different and innovative things with their brand. So we did a lot of fun projects. There was actually one of my most favorite projects of uh, my past 10 years, 12 years now with Edge has been RAP, the Rural Arts Program Music Museum. We were lucky enough to be able to curate and design that entire museum in the city of Jaipur. And that project alone was able to not just bring us a lot of credibility in the future, but it taught me so much as an entrepreneur. And I feel like in those 2 years, I grew a lot and I learned a lot. Well, come COVID, which comes in everyone's lives now. So, come COVID, I was able to then think about what I actually want to bring out from my business, say 10 years down the line. And I was able to execute my long dream of this particular product line called Sketch by Edge, which is now about 3 years old, where we do DIY party kits. So it's like a ready to use party kit which has all your decorations and a bunch of games for a party of 12. And we cater to adults as well as children. So our clients have been right from a 1 year old's birthday party up to an 80-year-old's event or a birthday party. The box comes with decoration, games, bridal showers, baby showers. It's just a whole lot of fun in a box. And that is something that I'm currently looking at growing. And being in Bangkok is wonderful for that, for this particular project. So I'm very excited.
That's fantastic. Obviously, a lot of learnings there from point of view of obviously university in India and the UK, leadership, management, design, fashion. Wow, a lot of things digest there. And obviously, you seems like you've done B2B and now doing B2C, and you've found this new niche in the B2C market. Do you see that that is where you're going to be working more on the coming years and currently, or do you feel like there'll be a mix of the two, B2B, B2C sort of style of work?
It'll be a mix of the two, I feel, because I still feel like it's our design studio currently is fueling our new business Sketch. But regardless, we also really enjoy doing a lot of valuable projects with our design studio. We do have a certain belief of design, which is free communication and open communication, and we want to keep building that for the world. So we're selective with our projects, but we definitely want to continue with what we're doing at Edge. And of course, Edge is now a 12-year-old studio, so 12-year-old studio. So we do have established clients, and we do have a certain amount of goodwill, which is able to keep our ball rolling. But with Sketch, we are now on that growing curve, and I look forward to that because that comes with its own set of challenges but excitement.
That's fantastic. You talked about your philosophy of design. Openness is something which I hear the buzzword quite often, but actually, in practical sense, is actually very challenging. Tell me how you came about the idea of sort of openness and that freshness to your work. What's the thinking behind that, and what made you actually think about this as a value or a unique selling point potentially of your business?
So, actually, if someone ever asks me what my studio is, I would always introduce it as a communication design studio and not a graphic design studio, because that's what we are. We strongly believe in communicating the right material or information for ourselves or for our client. And I really feel like in today's world, that's the most important element in any business, because you could be doing only fabulous designs, or you could be only speaking and talking of what you want to do. But to bring them together and to communicate your true missions and values is what will set you apart in so many other between so many other competitors that you may have in your industry. So I think communication is key in anything, in any sphere of your life, be it friendship, be it family, be it making someone feel special, or something as big as a brand. You see so many brands in the world use that to emotionally stir you towards them, and I feel they do it very well. Some of them do it very well, and which is why you would always keep going back to the brand. So if you come to think of it, when you walk into a supermarket, or open your Instagram for instance, because we have so much digital data these days, you always are flooded with information, but what you would steer towards is what you emotionally remember, which is why communication correctly with EQ and not just IQ is very important. And that's something we are constantly striving to achieve at Edge, as well as Sketch with our party kits, where we make sure that every kit is personalized in such a unique way that whoever you're presenting it to, or whoever you are doing it for, feels and feels special and is able to realize the amount of effort you've put into that event for them. Of course, because you're buying a product from us, we encourage you to reduce that time, and we do that homework for you without taking away the fact that the love is still there.
Gotcha, gotcha. Very interesting that. It just reminded me of a chat I had with Mike Golden, who also owns a agency, well, more of a B2B agency, but yeah, in China. And he was telling me about how the communication style is very different when you look at the West versus the East. For example, he was talking about the sort of the Nordic design, which is so clean, clutter-free. And if you look at Japanese or Chinese styles, it's full on, lots of colors, lots of things in the mix. And sometimes that design not only looks like that, but also the communication is very similar to that as well. So, is there a style which you embrace as an agency, especially for Sketch to Edge? I mean, is there a different style you look at, or you are adapting to the environment you are in, especially moving from Jaipur to Bangkok, for example?
Yes, of course. I mean, any studio, any agency has to be absolutely adaptive, especially in today's day and age. Otherwise, it's very easy to not achieve your goals. But we definitely have a style, because otherwise we are not able to define what we enjoy doing. I think our style is minimal, clean, with a streak of fun. And if you do come across our work anywhere, you'll be able to tell us apart, because we try to keep the communication clean, where whatever we are communicating about, be it a brand or a certain party, would be very easy, direct. But we always try to make sure that with that minimalism, and with the neat design, comes also a touch of something that you can carry forward, and eventually becomes a classic design.
Understood. Understood. So your style is from what I'm hearing, a mix of minimalist but also a bit of fun, which sounds like a really cool mix. I must say, it's probably the preferred mix, I would say, in this in my head. So that's very cool. Congratulations on that. And yeah, I've seen your design before, so I can vouch for your style being unique and very simple, simplistic, but equally very eye catching as well. So you got a bit of both going there. And so congratulations on that, Pranika. Moving to a bit of a tangent here, because I love tangents in life, is recently one of your posts, or it was post from your BM, got viral of you doing an ice bath challenge. Tell us about how does this all come about? Where did it come from? And is something which you're pursuing quite a bit at the moment?
It's actually something that I only did that one time, and I probably don't have the courage to do again. But I was new to Bangkok, and I was trying to do every new experience I could. And when EOBM said we are doing this particular workshop, I said okay. And until I was there, I didn't know what I signed up for. So when I went there and I walked in 1 minute late, and the instructor was just saying something like, "Oh, 80% of the people, they die if they don't do it correctly." And I'm like, "What did I just walk into?" But of course, I mean, I just heard half of it. There's a method of doing these ice baths, and they do come with a lot of benefits. Other than just removing inflammation and those smaller things from your skin and body, they also help reducing stress and all of that. But what I think the ice bath did for me was none of these, but it really showed me my own resilience. I never thought I would have been able to do an ice bath. I'm someone who feels cold in a 22-degree room, 22 degrees Celsius room. So I would always have a cover on me, and I just could not believe I did it. It was just something that was very interesting, and the way they teach you the breath work, and just speaking to yourself and telling yourself that this is something I got to do. And when you're able to achieve it, it's wonderful. So yes, absolutely interesting this experience was, and you all should go for it. Have you done it ever, Raj?
I've done a couple of ice baths before, but I haven't done this particular one, and I'm gutted I missed it because I was traveling that time. Else I would definitely have been there. But I've done a few ice baths, and I must say I'm like you. I don't like the cold that much. Hence I moved from the UK here, and very happy in Bangkok. Uh, but yeah, I know there's a lot of benefits of it, and maybe I should try the right process, and that the breath work and the advice which goes alongside the ice bath. So hopefully next time I'll be able to join one of these sessions and we can all do it again.
Absolutely. And I have to say, the right group of people also helps. I was among my favorite EOBM group, and we had a great time because we were able to encourage each other. So yeah, that definitely helps.
Fantastic. As you talked about ice bath, you also touched the topic of resilience. Now, resilience is something which is currently a buzzword. Everyone talks about resilience, but it's different for different people. Obviously, in your career, you've shown a lot of resilience. Moving around during COVID and beyond, I'm sure wasn't easy. Where would you say resilience has played a role in your life, say professionally and personally?
I think it's all in the mind. It's definitely a mind game, and you can only be as resilient as you want to be. But sometimes to come out of your comfort zone and to push yourself to try something new is what I've realized in hindsight is has been something that has made me more resilient over time. So I was born in India, grew up in Jaipur, and I used to keep going back to Jaipur because I did move outside of the city to study, but I always knew I can keep going back. Even when my husband and I were living in between Hong Kong and Jaipur, we were still going back to Jaipur. But this actual move to Bangkok was actually truly the first proper move that I did, and I was really reluctant, only to realize that I needed to get out of my comfort zone to learn better. And it's absolutely wonderful to burst your bubble, step out into the world, and see how much more there is to it. So, yeah, I think resilience comes with just talking to yourself and telling yourself you can do it. And of course, everybody has their own boundaries and their own resilience, but you get there. You get there.
And obviously, as you move to this new paradigm, which is a big shift, obviously, from what you're used to, what do you believe have you sort of seen in your own personality, business? Has there been any changes that you've seen, anything noticeable that you can share with us?
Oh, of course. That is such an interesting question because it's a very introspective question. I think I've become so much more patient. I mean, you've been my friend offline as well, and I share these experiences with you, but time has taught me to be patient. And I think patience can be one of our biggest virtues if we use it the right way, because everything happens in its due course of time. Even with resilience, if you're patient, you're able to probably achieve that one milestone that you weren't able to achieve a month ago. So, yeah, with everything that I've been through so far, patience has been my biggest takeaway, my biggest learning.
And how, this newfound skill or strength, how are you using it in business? Is there any new application that you have found?
Oh, well, if by an application you mean an app that I use on an everyday basis, not for my business particularly. I do use this app called Calm for mindfulness and for meditation, which I really enjoy. But EO has actually taught me something very interesting. We do a 5 minute meditation before every forum meeting, and that the content of that meditation is just to align the group to be able to be present in that meeting. And I've recently started applying that to my business meetings when I'm walking into something very important or when I'm walking into something that I feel like I need to be fully present in. I would just take 30 seconds or a minute and align myself, and I think that really helps. And again, that comes with the idea of being patient, right? Because I can't be like, oh, the clock is ticking, I gotta run, but you've got to sit, breathe, and then go in. So that helps.
Excellent. I agree with you. I mean, obviously, we're in the same forum, so I do agree that it really helps align. But for people who don't know what a forum is, well, what is a forum?
Oh, well, I think a forum is a group of people outside of your group of people who have nothing to do with you in terms of crossing paths in life, but you've all come together as a forum because of EO. You are all belonging to different businesses and you meet monthly to exchange notes and ideas of how all of you can grow personally and professionally. Of course, EO encourages you to follow a format, and as EO members, we go through forum training and we are able to execute that in a very disciplined manner. But I think this is the gist of it. And if I missed on to something, Raj, you can fill that in.
I think you did a fantastic job to kind of explain what forum is. I couldn't do any better than that. But yeah, absolutely agree with you. It is a magical sort of group of people which you kind of meet in the journey. And as you said, rightly said, there isn't any connections before. So that completely agree with you. And obviously, your forum journey has been beyond, definitely beyond mine. I've only been in here for a few years, but what has Forum brought to you in your life? What is it? How has it contributed to the Pranika we know today?
Well, I have been in, I'm in two forums currently. There's one forum from my Jaipur chapter, which I have been a part of for the past 8 years now, actually, a little less than eight. And my new forum, which you and me are together in, I have been a part of for a couple of months, and I enjoy both equally. I feel the forum helps you grow. It definitely makes you realize your own value in your own life, because I think sometimes all of us get so wired around our businesses or our families and our responsibilities and duties, and we are all at that age where we have to achieve certain goals and make sure our children are doing okay and all of that. But it's always important to keep coming back to yourself, and my forum always helps me do that. It always makes me check inside of me instead of just outside and around of me, and I love that about my forum. It's the most non-judgmental free zone where I can be myself, which is wonderful.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And yeah, I echo your thoughts. I think forum is fantastic. It's almost like it's almost religion. It's almost holy. It's so pure it is. So it's amazing. Um, okay, I'm the master of tangents. They call me Matt, master of tangents for a reason. So I'm going to take another tangent from here. Now you talked about resilience. You talked about forum. You talked about EO. The one thing I've been seeing quite a lot is, and I'm sure you heard this before. I'm a big proponent of women in business and women in professional circumstances. In my company, 70% plus team members are women. I'd love to hear from you as a women entrepreneur. And again, this is, I'm not labeling anybody. I'm just keen to hear a different perspective. How has the journey been so far? Have there been any challenges and opportunity to be a women entrepreneur, or do you see this as part of life and there's no distinction between that? You all live our lives, follow our journeys, and this is just one of these journeys. What are your thoughts on women entrepreneurship?
There are so many thoughts that were coming to my mind when you were asking me this question, because there are many spheres, and there are many spheres to this particular question, and one cannot ignore that it is a woman is playing a lot of other roles as well. So it could be a longer journey or a more wider journey for women entrepreneurs. When I started business 12 years ago, things were very different though. It took me a lot of time to get people to take me seriously, only because I was a woman, and to convince some of my male clients who were probably at a senior level in their company and were directly doing business with me, that what I'm going to deliver is going to be equally valuable. But of course, I also probably think sometimes that it could be just a challenge of being new in business, other than some remarks which you move around, you learn to let them go and you learn from them as well. Coming to today, I feel like the world has become so inclusive. We all are able to understand and respect each other's boundaries and everything that a woman or a man brings to a table when in business. So it's definitely not the same anymore. There is a lot of, or maybe over promotion of women in business sometimes, which is a bit too much, in my opinion, also sometimes. So I think just to keep coming back to the thought of being equal, EO has got so much of that in my life, of making sure all men and women entrepreneurs are treated equal. And again, all the literature around us, all the books, all the podcasts are only talking about that. So I don't think that's a concern anymore. The only concern for women entrepreneurs today, in my opinion, is to balance their own plates. Because we all want to be great mothers, great partners, great friends, great daughters and daughter in laws, and of course, great entrepreneurs. But well, can one have it all? So it's about balancing that. But other than that, I think it's wonderful to be around male and female entrepreneurs and to learn alongside them.
I hear you, and it's you've really hit a chord there with what I'm thinking as well, because yeah, women juggle a lot of different roles, and there's some roles which only they can take care, or undertake. Men can't, unfortunately. Like for example, men can't give birth to kids, right? That's not a
But
function which we
but
have.
having said that, Raj, the dads of today are wonderful. They're so supportive. I know you are one. I know my husband is one. The men around me, they're so supportive and helpful to all the women around them to be able to achieve both their goals simultaneously. So definitely kudos to everyone to be able to be in this journey as equals, on this journey as equals. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's education and nurture. I think, but a bit of both. And I think that helps. But just talking about resilience, having multiple roles. Recently, I was seeing this, just embark on this like wrestler who is also in some ways an entrepreneur as well, called Rick Flair. He was a very popular entrepreneur, or actually wrestler, um, a bit flamboyant and maybe not my style, as it were. But one thing he was talking about there was about sacrifice. Sacrifice is a very important part of any person who wants to achieve big goals which are out of this world. Do you feel there is a balance in entrepreneurship, that really as entrepreneurs we have a balance there, or actually is entrepreneurship another name for imbalance in life? People who follow something which is probably the hardest thing to achieve, you know one in 10 or 2 in 10 make it, rest all go bust, for example. What are your thoughts on entrepreneurship and this journey which they are on, which is, in many, with some people call it silly or stupid?
It's hard, it couldn't be easy, but again, as long as you're on it, as long as there's resilience and discipline, you will get there. So entrepreneurship also requires a lot of patience, but as long as sacrifice is concerned, I feel like it's also about choosing your own battles. And this is something that I've learned in my personal life, and I try to execute in my as a professional, where you choose what battles are feeling like a sacrifice or what you must take on and let go of something. So on a day when I'm really trying to finish or achieve a certain goal or finish a very big project, and I do have to let my son be on his own for 2 hours, now that is a sacrifice, but I've chosen which path to take for that particular day. I can't generalize that and be like, oh, I've done this and now I'll be on a guilt trip and all of that. But you just choose your path. And as an entrepreneur, the beauty is you are working 24 hours, but your days off are also the ones that you decide are the days off. So it's a bit of both.
That's a great answer. So if I was to ask you and sort of dive a deeper on that and ask the question, which is, what are you optimizing for as an entrepreneur or as a person, Monica? For example, in my early example, Ric Flair, the wrestler, was optimizing for fame. Right? That was Ric Flair's thing, based on what I saw in the documentary. What is Monica optimizing her life for?
It's a very recent realization. I'm optimizing my life for easier and open communication among everybody. And I want to bring that about with my business. I want to bring that about with my forum practices. I want to bring that about in my family by being more assertive and communicative. Because I feel like if one is able to just communicate better, you can be happier human beings.
Right. So
And
you're
isn't
optimizing for
happiness
communication.
something that we are all chasing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So would you say that you're optimizing for communication and openness? That's all you're optimizing for?
Maybe.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's the thing is, I feel as we progress in life, and there are multiple journeys we embark on, and these lead to new bits of things we do. And I'm sure what you're optimizing currently for, you'll achieve that, and then perhaps you'll jump on the next optimization level, which will be the next step up from there. But this is all really interesting, Pranika. Obviously, all this happened, or we started talking to each other because of EO, and you've been a EO member for many years. Tell me, what has EO brought into your life? How has it helped you to be the Pranika we know today?
Yes, I've been a part of EO long enough now, I can say. It's going to be 9 years this July, which is a good amount of time. EO has been very interesting for me. It's been one network that I've learnt about through my father. He really encouraged me to become a part of EO. And when I became a part of EOBM last year, Raj, it was you who encouraged me to join EOBM. And when I did that, I actually called up my father and I thanked him. saying what you have gotten to me because of EO is something I wouldn't have been able to discover otherwise. Because when you're young and you're just trying to be an entrepreneur, and I'm a very social person by nature, you just don't get the time sometimes to think and stop. And I'm glad my father was able to encourage me to pursue EO. I have had some of the most wonderful experiences with EO. I've been lucky enough to attend two GLCs. I'm going to my third one this year, and I'm really looking forward to it. You get to meet so many people from different walks of life. It's like one big family once you're with EO members. No matter where you reach out to them in any part of the world, their hearts are open for you, and you are definitely leading and learning among peers. That is what EO teaches you. It teaches you so much discipline. The kind of discipline EO has gotten into my life is something that I've executed at all my entrepreneurial steps, and it's really brought a lot of benefits to me. And I think the best thing that EO has done for me is it's made me a fantastic listener. Towards the end of this podcast, I know everybody can tell I love to talk. So, other than that, EO has also taught me to listen, to hear, and then to resonate everybody's journey alongside yours. It's been a wonderful experience with you.
That's fantastic. I just say we have 2 years in one mouth for a reason, right? So that's great that we have all learned so much from EO. Thank you, Veronica, for sharing your journey with us, for being so open and communicative about what you have learned in your life, your focus on communication, design, your background, your journey as a woman entrepreneur. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today, and appreciate and wish you a lot of good luck for the future as you embark on your EO and beyond journeys to make yourself the person you want to be.
Thank you so much, Raj. Thank you so much for having me today. And it was wonderful chatting with you. It was just so nice.
Thank you, Veronica.